Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. It's your buddy AVT Pro, and what I want to show you today is a Maya facial rig, a morph-based facial rig, and what that would be is quite different from if you have different types of bones or nose or game. This is just a basic intermediate level animation rig, and I want to thank Digital Tutors for their facial rig. I actually bought these CDs probably 6 years ago. I've been trying to get to this. I can't say it was the first or foremost thing on my mind because I was doing other things, and I don't always do facial animation, but I have done several character animations, and I may need slight facial animation. So I might need winking of the eyes. So I'll show you like that. But I just generally do it with morph targets, and I usually use electric image. So here's a wink of the eye, and so this one is unique because it has this big I wouldn't say big, but grid. It has this GUI or GUI GUI or a graphic user interface. So it's a graphical face to reminisce to help you animate or intuitively animate the face controls. And so instead of having to go over to all of these here, or to the blend shape dialog box, which because I moved this over, I didn't add any I didn't bring the blend shapes over. So normally I would just put a couple of blend shapes in here. You can still see the blend shapes. Okay, so I got a bunch of blend shapes that were here. I just deleted the data, but the blend shapes are here. So these are all the blend shapes. There's a lot of blend shapes. That's a good amount. And I may have skipped one or two, which I think I'll still fix up later on. And then I might add some more or add some other stuff. But basically, I just use this kind of control panel. I usually have a double screen, and I just do this. I'll just move them like this or something like that, you know. And you can animate quite nicely with that. But this GUI or GUI, graphic user interface, would allow you to access all of those different blend shapes in one area. And so that's the nice thing about this. The only thing is in general, if you're on a project, you got to get it done, and you got to get it done quickly. And unless you're doing a feature film, which what sells those feature films are the research and development, the amount of development that they do in those. So I did this in about 3 days. And again, I said it's a basic tutorial, so it's a lot easier when somebody has already thought of all the things that you have to do. The only thing about that tutorial, there was a couple of glitches in it, or just something that I've had problems with. So I'll show it to you. So when I move the GUI here, the eyes don't move correctly. The template parts don't move correctly. But it's not really a big problem. Okay, it's just something, you put a camera here, you put this in a separate window, you never really have to move it. So but let me just demo the GUI and show you. So this is a face, and this is one other thing that this is probably the first project that I've said that, I usually say when working on this stuff or going back to, I should have did this 6 years ago. I should have did that 5 years ago. I should have done that 10 years ago. But this is a project that I say, because I spent time modeling and getting my edge loops correct and stuff like that, I found that to be very, very valuable in this process of building the morph targets. So that just, I mean, you could really tell. I modeled a lot of faces, and I've been doing a lot of faces in ZBrush, and I'm glad I did that time to research and develop. This is one of the first times that I could actually say, oh, you know what, I'm actually on time with this stuff. So the fact that I spent so much time doing faces and getting the edge loops right, I also have another tutorial for that. Now, again, this is not my design. I have several books to study facial animation rigging and different GUIs and never got through them. So Digital Tutors is by far the easiest, and Delano is really Delano. It just really rocks it, and the tutorial just moves right along. And again, the familiarity with the program, it's another thing, is that I'm glad I didn't do it when I bought the CDs, because if there was a problem, I doubt if I would have been able to fix it. The thing about that tutorial, you do have to do it exactly like he says it. And I have a tendency to deviate very quickly. And so there are certain things that they don't say that they're doing, that you need to kind of do it their way. But because I am familiar with Maya to the degree that I don't have a problem with it. Like, I took some of my morphs. Obviously I built this head in ZBrush, so some of the morphs is still easier for me to model in ZBrush. So there's some tricks about that. And one other thing is that other glitch I have is just the mouth has a little bit of lip on it. But anyway, let me just show you the interface. So this is what I like. One of the things that I really enjoy about this. And let me just grab, this is an eye controller, and if you look up on it, you can see how it can controls, and it gives the eyes almost a sense of fleshiness, because the eyes go up and down. But you see a little mouth movement. That's the mistake I made. But that's not something that I would really even be concerned about during the animation. So this I totally love. It's like the face just comes alive with just one control. And this is something I wanted to do for a long time, but I just hadn't got to it. And so, or I've been studying so many other things. And now, because I've done this, I'm really glad that I studied the other things. Now, you can move the eyes separately, and it doesn't, you know, I mean, so you could build this in, and you know, some people have it so that every eye and the eyeball, every direction that the eye moves, you can tell it moving under the skin. And so this is called a fleshy eye kind of thing. So, and mine, being this is a cartoon character, it's like a pseudo fleshy eye. And so what makes that work is that you have so many different types of animation things. So you have up downs, up down, look ups, look up, look down, the blink, and the raise the eyes, and all of that stuff. And you have, it's only a few phonemes, but it really helps. You could build your own phonemes from it. So again, other than the mouth movement, I just, you know, I just really pretty darn impressed with it. And then there's other faces. Here's another one that's really great. And so I'm showing you the most automated ones. And so this mouth just really so organic. And you know, it's not 100% perfect, but it's just, it goes a long way as far as getting this done. And so it's just very organic. And so it just, the character just immediately comes alive just from touching. And so I just felt like it was a great breakthrough. I'm like, oh, I should have been doing this sooner. But no, I'm telling you, I couldn't be happier that I spent the time doing the different types of things in ZBrush. So I feel very prepared for anything I want to do with this. So that's So the main thing is the expressions, and then you have, let's say, sneers, and so this is a fun one, just up here, and then you can close the mouth a little bit, and then so just immediately, and again, you know, the more you know about your character and the way, you know, here is, and so I don't have zero out controls yet, and I'll probably develop a few of my own scripts and stuff like that for that. So Black Science Fiction is about to start, so I want to finish this up real quickly, but this is kind of going to be a long. So here's some more fun stuff. So if you open the mouth, and on this, like they had some of the attributes are on this, on the scaling. And then I wanted a couple of my own, so I added O's. And again, you got to kind of try to keep it on model when you add these, but sometimes you can't help it because you're adding different ones. So duck lips. So there you go. Duck lips, y'all. So it just immediately, I mean, the duck lips, y'all. Ain't a purdy. So it's just, and then lots of brow controls. So the cheek, smile, and frown, and then here's one. So this is where I kind of made a mistake because I morphed it with the mouth open and it should be a little bit closed, but as you can see, that's totally organic. And what's nice is nowadays they have a lot of controls where you have a lot of different mouth, a lot of different organics underneath it. But it's obviously, you know, your artistic understanding of the musculoskeletal structure underneath the facial, the different levels of the epidermis will help, and just how, so I'm pushing the cheekbones out. And another thing is like these morph tools, like you could do it mainly in Maya, and that made, so it was a lot of morphs, but it made it really quick using it, and that's something I haven't done. I haven't given Artisan its fair shake with a lot of the stuff there. And so he also added some controls that I didn't deem really necessary. Like here's twitch. Here's twitch on the eye, I guess. I twitch my eyes a lot, but so again, here's sneer, and then, you know, there's just one side, another. That's the Rihanna look. She's famous for doing the sneer. Yes, I did look at a reference real quick, you know, to get the form of the lips. But I just totally enjoyed it. And again, I feel good because of my, you know, they use a very simple model that doesn't have many verts on it. So I use, this is the level of model that I use. And so that's a little sophisticated. And so that puts more work involved, but I still was able to get it done rather quickly. Of course, I said 3 days, but I would never do 3 days on a project and get killed like that. But there's a little twitch in the mouth, but if you're animating it, you wouldn't need that. You wouldn't need to worry about that. Yeah. So, like I say, they're additive, so you gotta be careful, you know, because you'll push the rig too much. I've been playing, and I post a lot of pictures on my Facebook. Just immediately get a lot of expression. Somebody said that it looks like a friend of mine from Buffalo, who is now an actor. And, you know, sometimes I do look at stuff, but if I look at something there, something subconsciously comes out. I can't help that. Anyway, so anyhow, so some of them, like I say, are extreme, and but I'm just really happy. So here's another fun one, is that you can see that there's tongue control, and like I say, it's great. And then I added a couple of attributes that they didn't, so the twist of that, and then so that was the smile, and here you have tongue control, and this is why I had to show you, because you have a couple of extra nodes here, and so bam, stick that out. So it's just really, really, really nice. It does everything. I mean, and I've just been able to get just so many emotions out of it without really having to do a lot to get it. I forgot which one was some of my favorite ones. I've just been really blown away by how organic and really, probably, I was up on this a couple of nights, and I was just having so much fun, just laughing to myself, just totally just. And then there is the head control. Now here's another tricky part, and that was a slight glitch. But you just kind of work around it with an animation. So the neck was really great, but because I don't have a bottom rig here, there's no rig holding the rest of the neck onto anything, that it does switch, which is bad if you. So this is let me say, this is my first body I've ever done in 3D, and I modeled it in EI Modeler, and so the head that I had on this character, which was a poop, so this needs correcting. Is that just too far? This was the first time. This is my first time I ever used ZBrush, but I modeled the cage in EI Modeler, and then that company, modeler, went defunct, and so they discontinued it. And it was just so taboo. It was like version 1.5, and there was no way, nobody knew how to really use it, how to transfer the different levels of geometry, and which is ultimately important when you're talking about animation. So you can't have high-res geometry. Of course, this was a low-res cage, but then I took it into ZBrush just to tweak it a little bit, and that's when I fell in love with ZBrush, way back then. I didn't know how to use it that much, but then I started to study it and how to use UV maps, and Laurent Marquis from France is an electric image user. He did a lot of research with it. He helped me a lot with the research. So, it's just, let me get this back. So it's just been fantastic working with this, but I gotta get back, get that tongue, and I think the group is about to start in a couple of minutes. It's like less than. Anyway, so there you have it. And there's also a couple of constraints on here to make like the eyes lock. Like if here it goes 0, now the eyes, it snaps in like that, but it wouldn't be a problem if you were animating. It's something that they don't show on the tutorial, that unless there's something different, but it does jump when you use it, but now it's locked on the eyes. So the head, I can move the head around and the eye is locked on the eyes. But then when I go here and then put in a value of 10, then it's locked. But it changed down. The eyes are locked on a central point. So again, fun stuff. Now, what am I gonna do with this? What am I gonna do? What I'm gonna do? I don't know yet. There's a couple of things I want to do, but we have to decide. So I didn't finish this rig off. I mean, it's done. All the functionality is in it, but I didn't do the cleanup on it, the bonus DVDs. There's about 40 videos. Like I said, I bought the 2-disc set. Now you got to go online to get it. I don't like online, but it's still a great tutorial. And also they have several types of facial rigs nowadays. But when I saw this back, it was literally about 6 years ago. And so I generally can rig a human body. It just depends on what level. And so this is just me taking this up another level, which I normally wouldn't do. I wouldn't, like I said, I wouldn't do a lot of facial rigging. I wouldn't have the time. But this is a convenient level that, you know, I don't have a problem. I didn't have a problem with doing so. So it's just really, you know, this is the thing that got me, that I didn't realize. When you have a couple of different automated controls in the same rig, you know, it just becomes so easy. So it makes me think of, oh well, you know. And then Maya is just a great program. The way it handles the mesh and stuff like that. Okay. So yeah, I'll probably do some talking stuff, but I have a couple of other things I want to do that are, you know, more business oriented. You know, got to make money at it. And so, all right, God bless you all. Love you all. Bye.